Welcome to District 5 Neighborhood Policing. I'm your host, Ed Roach. Rich Laham's not with us this week, but he'll be back next week. Before I get to my guest this evening, I just want to thank our sponsors. Without the sponsors, the show wouldn't be possible. First off is Sullivan's Pharmacy down in Roslindale Square, Corinth Street. You only have to wait 5 minutes for a prescription. It's a full-service pharmacy, so anything you need there you can get, and they'll do you right down there. We also have West Roxbury Motors up in the 1800 block of Center Street. Always a great selection of vehicles up there. If you see what you like, stop by, because it might be gone the next time you go by. We got UltraGuard protective systems. An alarm with a central system is the best way to protect your house. You always have an alarm on your vehicle, seems like, so it always gives you peace of mind whether home or away that you have an alarm on your house, so that's always a good idea to have those. We got Remax, Doug LaCour, and Steve Morris, a few local guys. Seems now's the time to, the economy's starting to get a little bit better. The home prices are still low, and the financing rates are extremely low, so I think now's the time to look into buying a house if that's what you're looking for. And last but not least is Target Pizza. It's always good food up there. I love the pizza, especially those large 20-inch pizzas. It's enough to feed an entire family. So yeah, if you if you stop by any of the sponsors, just tell them you saw them on the show. Okay, guest for this evening, we're talking about a fundraiser for a child with a rare medical condition. We got two guests tonight, Carly Fortunato. We got Kate Sonia, whose daughter has that rare medical condition. So we're just going to talk a little bit about, what the condition is, and how people can find out about the fundraiser and why you're having the fundraiser. So welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
All right. So Kate, just tell me just a little bit about yourself and your family.
Well, we have a son who is 20 months old, and our daughter was born in January of '09. And when she was born, right away they knew that there was something wrong, and she was transferred from Norwood Hospital to Boston Children's. And she was put into the NICU, and she was there for about 3 weeks. And she was born with no skin on her feet, which is definitely a part of this disease. All children that are born with it, they have different things that may be wrong with them to lead the doctors to believe that it's epidermolysis bullosa. And for her, it was pretty apparent that that's what she had. So they did all the tests that they needed to, and they came back with, that they thought she had EB, and it was tough for her. She was in the hospital for about 6 weeks, and it was tough going back and forth with our son at home and with her in the hospital, and I was right out of surgery, and it was just tough, but.
I mean, it's supposed to be a time when you're one of the most happy times in your life. You're having a child, and then,
yeah.
I mean, did you know right away that something was wrong with?
No, it's so rare that it didn't even cross our mind, especially because our son is healthy, and as far as we know, it didn't run in our family, and it was unfortunate. It was still a good time though, and she's a beautiful baby, and we were blessed otherwise, and so.
And like you always see, the movies, TV, or whatever, you see, make sure they have 10 fingers, 10 toes, and it is, I mean, imagine the tough time that you had, because right away, initially you probably didn't know they didn't know, the hospitals initially didn't know what.
No, they actually, because I had a C-section, they called my husband over, and they all told him to be really quiet because they didn't want to upset me until I was done, and they had the doctors come in when I was recovering and to try to explain it to me, and it's kind of like a fog after that, I mean, you really can't prepare for that. If you know that it's in your family, it's a little bit better. There are some tests that they can run prior to having the baby, but a lot of the parents that I had talked to, you still can't prepare yourself, every case is different.
I mean, it is so rare that the doctors themselves probably didn't know initially what was going on. So,
right. There are some people that go their whole entire career in the medical field and never come across this disease.
So that's one of the unfortunate thing about are we about these rare diseases that, you know, a lot of the medical research goes into, you know, the diseases that lots of people have, and
Right.
where they figure that that they can get, you know, a return on their investment,
Yeah.
so to speak. That
Right.
they're putting all this money into development and research, research and development, and try,
Right.
and then put the medication. So what is epidermolysis? Is that what's
Epidermolysis bullosa,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
It's also referred to as EB. There's 3 different types. There's simplex, dystrophic, and junctional. Simplex, you know, again, they all vary, you know, depending on what kind you have. I mean, it goes from mild to severe in all 3 categories. But for the most part, you know, simplex, you can have your whole life and not really be bothered by it at all. You know, dystrophic is a more disfiguring type, which is the type that Amelia has, where, you know, a lot of the kids end up having G-tubes, for feeding. There's, you know, scarring of the esophagus. There can be the clubbed hands and the clubbed feet, and a lot of stuff that goes on with that. And then junctional is a less viable form, and unfortunately a lot of the children that have that don't live past the age of around 2, because it really just affects the inside to a very, very bad degree. So.
Now, it's not only the skin on the outside, it's also...
Right. Her eyes can actually be affected as well, the cornea, because for whatever reason it's the same cells in that part of the eye as the skin. So a lot of them have just permanently damaged corneas that they need to have operated on.
And do they still have any idea what causes it?
It's a mutated gene. It's kind of like cystic fibrosis or even kind